And we are live. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to episode 85 of Next Gen Newsweek, your weekly podcast for all things E3 and Tomb Raider. I forgot what we were talking about today because it's not a lot of stuff. My name is Mitch. Joining me today is Richard,
Hello.
Caveman Richard, and Chase.
Hello, hello.
So first off, I would like to apologize for last week's episode because it was all fake news and it was April Fool's Day nonsense. And yeah, kind of fudged it, but we pulled through at the end of it. So we have some real stuff at the end of it, but the plan didn't work out like I wanted to. And I will have two announcements because two people close to Chase and myself have birth. Well, one of them is close to Chase and myself. One's close to me. Have birthdays today. First, happy birthday to our friend Danny that we used to work with at Walmart. She's probably not going to watch this. And two, happy birthday, Mom. I love you. So, anyway, just wanted to get that out there and wish everybody a happy birthday. So, before we get into the news for this week, let's talk about what games we've been playing because I've beaten the Elden Ring and I have some more stuff I need to do because I've decided to platinum the Elden Ring, but that's pretty much all I've been playing. So, Richard, you weren't here last week, so I'll let you have the floor. You got 2 weeks worth of games to talk about.
Wow, I wish I'd been playing 2 weeks. I've been playing Elden Ring. I'm in the final stretch now. It's well, I guess we can talk about it later. I got my own opinions on it. It's great, but there's certainly things that I would have done differently that I wish would have been done differently. Aside from, I did get the new Kirby. I've put maybe about 2 minutes into it. I will. It looks beautiful. It really is. I like more of the open world format to it. You know, it kind of has like a Mario type flair to it that I really like. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. But then, aside from that, the Planet Crafters on Steam actually went into I guess you call it a beta release, which it's not on sale anymore. It's like $20. Essentially, it's like the whole survival thing, sort of like Subnautica, only you're not in the ocean. You're on a planet that has absolutely no atmosphere. And that's part of the appeal to this game that kind of sets it differently is you actually have to terraform. You got to change the atmosphere. You know, one of the first things you have to do is create an atmosphere by increasing heat, adding pressure, get a blue sky. And it's kind of cool because, you know, you don't think about what things do until you experience it like that. Because when you start the game and you get on this planet, you know, it's like the sun's always like blaring, you know, there's these bad storms and it's crazy. But then once you create an atmosphere and you have like a blue sky, suddenly you have a night and day cycle that you didn't have before because of the atmosphere. So, you know, there's a lot of cool things that are going on, and I like it. You know, I hope they continue to develop it. I'm happy to see where that goes. But if you like survival games, of course, you know, you have to eat, you have to drink. You know, there's those things that are associated with it. But it's I like it so far. Graphics are good. I mean, it's under my understanding this game is being made by two guys. So for just two guys, they've accomplished quite a bit so far. So if you like survival games, check it out. It's on Steam right now. It's called Planet Crafters.
Nice. Chase, what have you been playing?
So I got the 100% completion for Kirby. It's actually a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Because there's like, you know, there is a main story and then there's a bunch of post game stuff. And there are like secret bosses. And some of those bosses are a lot more challenging than I expected to be. So yeah, I have done everything you can do in Kirby, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was great graphics, a lot of fun.
Always one step ahead.
Mm-hmm. I played Golf Club Wasteland, which is a very relaxing, like indie art style game. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got a very bleak story. It's basically like how the world was destroyed and humans have colonized Mars, and now the billionaires escape from Mars and they come to Earth and they just play golf over all the ruins of Earth. But that's not your story. I'm not going to spoil your story, but It's it's a really cool game. The game's not very long.
Oh, Golf Club what?
Golf Club Wasteland.
Golf Club. Well, no, Golf Club Wasteland.
Can,
This
I'm
is
gonna
PC.
Yeah. I believe it's a PC and Switch.
It's a PC and Switch. Okay.
I'm gonna make an assumption. You probably play as the golf ball or the golf club.
No, that would be what was that other game? I can't remember that. There was another game where you were that, but it was really fun. But they did just announce a sequel to it. And it's called The Cub. And it is like it's more like I mean they've announced it for Steam, but I believe consoles will probably come later. And then it's more of a platformer game. But it looks really good. Same kind of art style, music. And then I played In Nightmare, which is a new like puzzle-ish horror stealth game. And it's the physical release is only $20. You can find it on like most online retailers because I don't think most stores are going to carry it. The puzzles are like I guess some of the really strong points of the game, but the stealth moments are just not great. Like I found myself running through like past most of the enemies, like some of them before they even noticed. If you like collectibles, there's like in like exploring levels, there's a lot of collectibles in each chapter. Like the level design overall was really good. Like graphics were good, lighting was great, but there were like so many instances where like frame rate was dropping like crazy, like really, really, really low, even on PlayStation 5. Like it was pretty bad. Did encounter a lot of bugs, like the screen would sporadically jump, monsters would grab you through walls, or continuously chase you if you were hidden, or sometimes just stop chasing you altogether. Yeah, characters were like clipping, text boxes overlapping, trophies not popping up. Like even if you like, it's like you complete this chapter and you're supposed to get a trophy for it. Those didn't even pop up for me. So I feel like the game hasn't been out very long. There's already been a patch for it, but I feel like they're hopefully working on it, and you might want to wait on this one if you're kind of interested in it and pick it up later. So.
You know what other game has really bad like characters clipping through things and bugs like that I experienced?
What's
Elden
that?
Ring. like like or bosses losing their aggro against you. I lost.
That was a. I'm sorry, I mean that was actually a thing they used to cheese. Apparently, there's a talisman that you can get that will constantly draw aggro. So what you could do is you could equip it, go into a boss fight, and then bring out your mimic, and then immediately take it off of you. And apparently, it would stay on him. So during the entire boss fight, it would only aggro your mimic, and then you could do whatever. But they patched it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
But yeah, I beat Elden Ring because the final boss just stopped attacking me, and it just stood there. I have a video
gave
of it.
up.
I have a video of it. I've shared it with people. Like I didn't. The only thing that I did that was like out of the ordinary, which I've done it before because it was just something somebody said you could do. And to me, it's kind of like whipping out the fishnet against Ganondorf kind of thing, or the fishing rod, if you know what I'm talking about, like where you throw it out there, he just stares at it instead of like attacking you. The first phase of this fight, you can run up to the final boss, and if you just stand there and don't do anything, he won't attack you. Like, but the minute you attack him, it goes back into normal. So instead of like opening the boss room and immediately summoning my mimic, and so he starts attacking me while I'm trying to summon it, I just run up to him and then he stops, and then I would just use the mimic tier there. And then I found out that the mimic tier, when it's summoned, starts doing like chip damage against things that touch it while it's summoning, and then he got pissed off. But yeah, I didn't mean to beat the game like that, but I'm kind of glad that it happened because I was just ready. I was fed up with it. I was ready to just beat the game. So I'm glad that it happened like that. And I did that cheeky thing where you just reload save states so I can get as many endings as possible. But I still have to go back and do New Game Plus to get the last ending. So I got like another day and a half of Elden Ring, and then I'm probably gonna put it away for a while because I'm a little fatigued, but I'm glad that I played it. I think I just hit 110 hours on this first playthrough, which seems like a lot when some people beat the game in 27 minutes or whatever it is now.
Mm.
Or
But they put in a lot of hours into the game at that point.
yeah, how many hours did it take you to beat it, Chase?
Around that time, like around,
Yeah.
I would say it was around 100 and something, just a little over 100, and then I think 125 to get all of it done, even like 2 New Game Pluses. So
Yeah. Richard, do you know how many hours you have in it?
I think at the present I'm like at 101 or I'm just over 100.
So you made some comment about how like I don't know how I'm a stay at home dad and you have more time to play it than I do or whatever, but like it's we're still like right on track with each other, like as far as amount of hours
Not
put into.
Chase, man. Chase did this stuff like 2 weeks ago.
and yeah, y'all started before me too.
Yeah.
Man,
I will say, like, this world and this exploration is what my expectation was for Breath of the Wild. I didn't know that now until I played Elden Ring, but that was the type of Hyrule I wanted to see. Even if it is post-apocalyptic, and it never feels barren.
yep.
And that was, and of course, I mean, there's a lot of limitations that go with Breath of the Wild, just as far as like the console that it's on and stuff like that. But I don't know. That was more of my expectation for Breath of the Wild. And now that I've played Elden Ring, I have a much more kind of concrete backing to what I thought was wrong with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Were you speaking of Breath of the Wild, were you disappointed slash surprised that it got delayed to next year?
No, I mean I figured it would be.
Yeah.
Hey, we talked about it. When they had that direct back in March. I think that's what I said. I was like, if they don't announce it, I doubt it'll come out this year, and they didn't. So,
Yeah.
but then it's kind of funny how they really the delay though was like real like quiet and muted. They just kind of slid it in one like random like day, one afternoon. They're just all like, "Oh, by the way, we're sorry, we're gonna cancel this game." So, I don't even know if people even realize it.
I mean,
it was such a
the holiday is so packed anyway with like a big open world RPG games. Like I feel like it's good for them to get out of the way of everything else because I mean, just on the Switch, you've got Xenoblade and Pokemon, you got God of War, Starfield, there's plenty of crap coming out that's all open world games that we're all going to be
isn't it usually
playing.
like a spring thing though? I don't know why I associate the Legend of Zelda with Easter, but I
Um,
do for some reason.
they're usually like holiday December games, but Breath of the
Yeah, I
Wild
know
was
it's so
March.
weird.
But
Oh, the first one was March.
yeah,
Okay, maybe that's what it is. Then maybe that's why I
That's
associate
when the
it.
Switch launched in March.
yeah,
Now, anytime I think of like holiday and like Christmas and Thanksgiving, I always think Pokemon.
yep.
It's usually when those drop in November.
Um, the I don't remember if I asked this last week or not to Chase, but I'll ask it again. Do you think that they're going to release new hardware in March, alongside the Breath of the Wild 2 or spring? Sorry, it's not. It can't technically be March. I guess it's like the end of it, but I don't know. I
Maybe.
I think it's time, but I've also said I think it's time for 2 years, and all we got was an OLED. So I don't know if I'm a an accurate. I'm not. I'm no Nostradamus of video games, so don't take my word for it. All right, let's get into some of the news for this week. There's not a lot, but we do have a couple of things. First one is E3 has been canceled again. This is like the third year in a row that there's not going to be an E3. I don't think it really matters to anyone anymore because of how everything is all digital now, as far as like Nintendo Directs and State of Plays and what they call ID at Xboxes, and there's Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest and all that.
I don't know why they just don't go ahead and call it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've canceled it the past 3 years, and I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I know that, COVID is serious, but I mean, at this point in time, like when you look at the numbers, they're so low now. I mean, everybody's either vaccinated or have it. I mean, to me, like them saying that they're canceling again for COVID, I mean, they might as well cancel it for polio. I mean, it's not. I don't think COVID is. In years past, it's probably something serious, but in 2022, with the advancements that we've made, with the vaccines that are out there, it just. I mean, nothing else, as far as to my knowledge, is getting canceled for COVID anymore.
Mm-mm.
So it just seems like an odd reason to pull out of the air.
Yeah, I think the numbers are just really low, regardless, because like you could kind of start seeing it dwindle, like whenever Nintendo pulled out from having like a press conference, like when they first started doing their like big directs, and then when PlayStation started doing it, they're like, "Hey, we're just not going to do an E3 show at all," because PlayStation usually will release like a big game in like March, and then they'll release maybe like one in the summer, and then like one in September, and then they kind of get out of the way of the holidays when like your Call of Duties and your everything else usually come out. So for them, it makes more sense to do like a show like in this a big show in the spring. Um, and Xbox has always been there, but like last year was just pitiful. Like even with their like I think they technically did like an online thing, and their online thing was like, oh, it's PC FanFest 1 and PC FanFest 2, and then Capcom's got a show, and all they're going to announce is that Resident Evil Village is getting DLC, and that was it. So, like,
and we've never heard anything about that since.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like they announced like Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak DLC, and that like just came out. So I think Jeff Keighley posted something on Twitter about how he was like, embracing like the lineage of E3, but also kind of excited that now pretty much all eyes are going to be like on his show because his show actually works. So like, it makes sense for him to do it because I mean, yeah, like all the big reveals from last year around that time were at his show. So I think it's time for them to just kind of step aside and let somebody else who actually has knowledge of that do it. So I don't know. Will obviously be doing some kind of coverage around that time. We haven't set any plans in motion yet for it, but I'm working on it, so we'll see how that goes. But let's switch gears over to PlayStation news because last week we talked about PlayStation Plus Premium, which is their new subscription model that's going to allow for streaming of older PlayStation titles and allow you to have access pretty much to PlayStation Now built into your PlayStation Plus subscription. But now people have figured out a way to exploit. Well, you can't do it anymore, but they figured out how to exploit getting the PlayStation Plus Premium for pretty cheap, and that was by buying PlayStation Now cards. Chase, little criminal down there in the bottom of your screen, was actually someone who took advantage of this. So, Chase, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about how that worked?
So yeah, basically they said that if you had a year-long subscription of PlayStation Now, then that rolls over to the Plus Premium whenever that starts. So a lot of people were buying years and years and years of PlayStation Now. I just went for a year because I was like, I don't know what's going on with this, but yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'll give for almost half price. I'll give it a shot. So yeah, so I went ahead and did that. But yeah, apparently it has been patched through Sony. You can buy the month cards now, but you cannot no longer buy the yearly subscription.
So if you bought 12 1-month cards, would it work?
I mean, I think you can stack them still, but it would be a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be saving anything at that point. It'd be $120 for 12 months.
Gotcha. Richard, how do you feel about PS Plus Premium? You weren't on the show last week when we talked about it.
I'm really amped. There's a couple of games that I know will appear on there, and there's a couple of games that I've kind of got my fingers crossed that they appear on there. I'm excited. I know they're not going to offer like their studio release games on day of launch, or at least they've hinted that they're not going to do that. And I understand that, but the service is cheaper than Microsoft's, because I know that's been like a big talking point. Is that well, Microsoft, they still offer day one, and I mean that's fine for them. It's also $15 a month with no way to bundle time. You're going to end up paying that, which ends up being, I had the numbers, I think it's like $160 or $170 a year. So for the cost, I don't think Sony has to do that. I think the library probably going to be pretty impressive. You look at like 700, is it almost 700 or 700 plus?
700 plus is what it says.
700 plus titles over the course of everything. And, I'm excited just to be able to, because my PlayStation 3 died. And I've been looking at PlayStation 3s, and it's going to be about 150 to replace one of those at this point. Yeah, well, PlayStation Premium is now 120 a year, so the games that I miss playing that are PS3, I know they'll be on there. You got the original Ratchet and Clank trilogy. I mean, I think that's a shoe-in. That'll be on there. The Sly Cooper series. You and I went back and forth with the banjo thing on that one. There's a lot of PlayStation titles and that's my hope is that there is an audience that has not experienced Sly Cooper yet, that can use this to experience it for the first time, and it generates enough attention that we might get a new one or a better one. Because
oh, sorry, go ahead.
The trilogy is great. They made a fourth one that came out in 2013, but it was a different studio. Not so great. So I don't know. Either find a studio that can do the original trilogy justice, or even the original studio, which I can't recall which one that was. They may be doing something else now, but I miss Sly Cooper. Apparently there's been a movie in the works for like the past decade. So,
oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. Disregard what I was gonna say. I'm gonna look up who Sly Cooper's dev was real quick because I'm interested. Oh, what I was gonna say was I think that there was talk about them being there was like a website renewal or a patent renewal or something for Sly Cooper earlier this year or late last year, and everyone thought that they were about to drop a new one. Sucker Punch is who made Sly Cooper, which I don't.
Yeah, they didn't make the fourth one. I can't remember who made the fourth one, but the fourth one wasn't. No, wasn't the same experience. No. I guess Sly Cooper 4 would be Banjo's Nuts and Bolts. We'll just pretend like that didn't happen.
Oh man, were there cars in it?
No, it was like Thieves in Time, and it just, I don't know, it didn't work for me. It seemed to like go off rails from what the series was.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much Nuts and Bolts. The music was fantastic. The game, but Michael, who is not here, asked for this story to be put in the notes for this week, and pretty much just talking about how the price of graphics cards for computers are starting to finally or fall back to like around their normal price. Steven is in the chat. Hello, Steven. Yeah, they're pretty much falling back down to normal price. Like I kind of was looking around because I'm not quite ready, but I'm thinking about doing a full upgrade on my computer again here soon. The processor that I want is $300 off, and it's like if I didn't have to just buy a bunch of like dress clothes, I'd probably do it. But like new job, I gotta like change my entire wardrobe, and it's like, oh god, wrong time. But anyway, yeah, the graphics card prices, they're coming down. Like they were like an RTX 3080, which is kind of like the new standard graphics card that everyone's kind of going for. It's supposed to, it MSRP's for $800, and it's been like $2,400. So seeing it come back down to around like 850, 950, around that price, kind of like a good sign that things are starting to return to normal with that. So if you're in the market for building a computer, or you want someone like me to build a computer for you, now is a better time to be looking into buying parts. I want to build a computer so bad. That's why I'm like, yeah, I'll drop $2,000 on a computer just so I have a reason to build one. I miss it. I haven't done, I built a computer like in over a year because no one wants to buy parts. Um,
Yeah, 'cause you can buy a console and it's all in one
yep,
for like half of that card
yep,
that you were just talking about.
yeah. I want it more for doing like better editing and stuff. I would love, which we're about to talk about Unreal Engine 5. I would love to have a better work computer for being able to really mess
Yeah.
with UE5. Speaking of UE5, just released its official build yesterday. Um, Lots of new features and stuff in there that was not in the preview build, if I'm correct in that. Which
Hmm.
I have the preview build of it, and it's pretty much just like it looks just like Unreal Engine 4, but there's just a button that says, "Would you like to do ray tracing?" It's like, okay, thanks. But they also released a new demo that you can play to mess around with it, and bundled with that, they have Crystal Dynamics has announced that they are working on a new Tomb Raider title that's going to be taking full advantage of UE5. Um, are y'all big Tomb Raider fans? I haven't played any of the newer ones. I only played like the
I have
polygon
not
ones.
played any of the newer ones. I think I own them digitally or physically. They're in my pile of shame, and I will get to them eventually. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a new one.
Yeah, I think they gave away the whole trilogy on Unreal or on the Epic Store last holiday, right? They gave away all three
Hmm.
of them. So if you took advantage of that, you've already got all three of them there. Other than that, the first one, which I think it's just called Tomb Raider, is on Xbox and PlayStation, but Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider are Xbox exclusives, unless they came to PlayStation later. Originally, they
I
were
think they're
Xbox
on. I think
exclusive.
they're yeah. I think they're a PlayStation.
Okay. They haven't announced what platform this is going to be for. I don't think it'll be exclusive anymore. Um, Around the time that that happened was around whenever like you know timed exclusives have always been like a weird thing for both consoles. I feel like personally, as someone who games on both, like it's more accepting for PlayStation to have timed exclusives because everyone's like, oh, they've always done that. But when Tomb Raider was an Xbox exclusive, like everyone rioted over it and was like, no, this needs to be on PlayStation too.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So I think that kind of had something to do with it. But I do have a list of a couple of games that are we know of are going to be on UE5, which is the new Tomb Raider, the Witcher 4, or the new Witcher that they announced, Black Myth Wukong, which we haven't heard of from them forever, and that's supposedly still in like.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can't wait for that to come out. It looks exciting. And Hellblade 2, and then I also forgot that they said that they're moving Fortnite to UE5 at some point, but we'll.
It's already done.
Oh, did it already happen?
It happened over the holidays.
Oh, well, I didn't notice a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, this just throwing that out there, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited. Like, I think everything that I've ever seen with UE5, even UE4 when that first came, I was like, oh my god, like this is a video game. Like, it looks
Hmm.
like a movie. Like, they had that Matrix thing that was really big around the Game Awards. They kind of blew everyone's mind with it too. So
Hmm.
there's going to be a lot of stuff that's coming out that people are going to get really excited for. And who knows? Maybe I'll make a game at some point and I'll put it out on UE5. I keep telling myself I want to start working on new projects and then I never do it. So we'll uh we'll see how that goes. Um, Pretty much that's all of the news for this week. And I know this is kind of like a shorter show, so I wanted to take this moment to talk about something that's not gaming related, but it's very uncommon for me to sit through and get bingey on like a TV show. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this show or not, but I just sat through and watched like the entirety of this show called The Righteous Gemstones on HBO. And if you haven't heard of it, should go watch it. Richard, you're nodding your head like you've heard of it or you've watched it.
Yeah, I think Amanda watched it.
Oh, it's so
And
good.
I walked in at one point, and yeah, it was funny. Humor that like, really kind of I don't want to say abusive humor, but man, they were they were eating dinner or something like that, and they were gotten into an argument, and like one of the characters was making pot shots at the other one's children. So
Yep.
I was just like, wow.
the so the concept of this show, if you're not familiar with it, is John Goodman, who is one of my favorite actors that's are still around, thank God. He plays the father, like the patriarch of this family that's like a televangelist church or whatever you want to call it, like kind of like the Joel Osteen type of people. And he's got three kids that are all like a part of their church, and it's the only one whose name I know off the top of my head is Danny McBride. Um, I don't know what all stuff he's in. But it's got the dude that's it. Oh God, what else? I can't think of anything else he's in. But anyway, they're all like just bratty children, and they've all got their own like weird fucked up things that they like are obsessed with and stuff. And he's trying to run this church, and everything's trying to go like the way that he wants it to go. And these kids just keep screwing everything up and just getting like the church and himself and just like a bunch of just random shit that they don't need to get involved in. And it's got 2 seasons on HBO. It's fantastic. I think the third season is not coming out till like next year, which is really disappointing. But yeah, it was a great 2.5 days of watching that show. Oh, and it has Macaulay Culkin in it, which I haven't seen him act in anything since Home Alone 2. So, because there was this big gap of just drugs right in the middle of it,
Hmm.
of his acting career. Um, have y'all watched any new shows or anything that's interesting that you'd like to plug?
I've got to start Moon Knight. It started, and
Hmm.
I've not looked at it yet, and it's really kind of because I love the Marvel stuff, and Moon Knight's probably one of my favorite. Everybody wants to make the association of like Iron Man and Batman, I guess because they're both like billionaires, but I don't really see that. I've always seen like Moon Knight as more of Marvel's Batman, or like even Daredevil. So I want to check out Moon Knight. I like Oscar Isaacs. I think he's a really good dude. And other than that, no, I'm still waiting on Obi-Wan. I'm really, really excited. And I hate Star Wars because of what they've done with it, but like I'm all about projects that go away from the sequel trilogy. So
I'm just I'm just not into Star Wars. Like, I mean, it's cool. I'm glad everyone's getting their Obi-Wan show finally, but like, just the only Star Wars movie that I can, God, I'm gonna get killed for this online. The only Star Wars movie that I think that's any good is Rogue One, and I don't know what it is about Rogue One. I just really like it.
no,
Uh,
Rogue One was really good. Is
Hmm.
there a backlash against that?
no,
Nobody likes.
I just feel like when you talk about a movie, if you're not talking about the original trilogy and you say that it's anything
Oh
other than that's good,
yeah,
people are gonna kill you.
gotcha. I
Like,
don't, but the fan base is so widespread on that, because
Yeah.
there's I would say that probably the majority. Well, I wouldn't even say that. I don't know, because sometimes articles and headlines can be misleading. It's like the Solo movie that bombed at the box office. I actually, if you look at when that came out, that was released like just a few months after The Last Jedi, which The Last Jedi is what like split the fan base in half, basically. And I think that its poor performance had more to do with, I don't want to call it a boycott, but I think they pissed enough people off with The Last Jedi that they were like, I'm not going to go see that Star Wars movie. They probably screw something else up. I actually like Solo. That was my favorite character until then. Whatever. But that I think that's my problem. I think it's why everybody's excited about Obi-Wan because I know I'm not alone in this. A lot of people do not like the character of Luke Skywalker anymore simply because now we know how it turns out and how much of a little troll he is. And Obi-Wan kind of became everybody's favorite, Jedi now. So, and everybody loves Ewan McGregor. So,
what what was the name of the first in the new trilogy? Is it? It's not
The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. Okay.
Yeah.
My mom used to be really big into Star Wars, right? Like a long time
Yeah.
ago, like when it first came out, had like the VHS collections and all that,
Yeah. I had
Uh,
it.
for I guess because her birthday or whatever. Like God, when that movie came out, it was either my birthday or her birthday. We went to go see it. She's like, I want to go see the new Star Wars movie. And I'm just kidding. And I don't think it's a spoiler anymore, but they kill Han Solo in the movie, and that was like her favorite character. And she's like, I don't want to watch it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
took her favorite thing away from her and killed him, and just like understandable. And then I watched the Last Jedi or whatever, and I'm like you. I was like, I don't get it. And then I didn't even bother watching the Rise of Skywalker.
You know, I I didn't. I had an issue with what they did. I guess I don't. It's not the right term. I guess the right term would be the original trilogy character. The original trilogy characters. I really dislike what they did with their stories because I think that it really goes against the characters that they built in the original trilogy. It's like they built them into a certain character in that trilogy, and then with the new trilogy, they're like, okay, well, suddenly they're not that way because you had Luke, who the entire original trilogy, all right, he's supposed to, Darth Vader's the bad guy. He killed your father, go get him. We find out that, it's really is his father. And at that point, even outside of Obi-Wan, outside of Yoda, like all those characters thought that there was absolutely no redemption for Anakin Skywalker except Luke. Luke never gave up hope that his dad could be redeemed. And then in the new trilogy, his nephew is the slightest bit dark, and Luke's like, I have to kill him. And to me, that goes completely against the character that they created in the original trilogy. And the same way with Han, Han, the guy that came back to save Luke in the first one so he could blow up the Death Star. And then in Empire Strikes Back, he risked his life to go save Luke out on Hoth, from freezing to death. The moment something happens with his nephew, he's not that guy that stays behind because he knows that his family and friends need him. He's like, all right, well, I'm just going to run off again. So I think that they wrote characters improperly because it went against that. And I think that what turned me off. I would have rather seen that story outside the scope of those characters. We can do Force Awakens and it can be after the time when Luke, Leia, and Han have died. I think they were trying to play fan service to bring people in, but then they treated those characters so horribly it turned a lot of people off, and then it just kind of went sideways from there.
Yeah, I don't know. Chase, have you been watching any shows? Do you watch television, or you just play video games all the time?
No, he just plays video.
No, I literally, I do not watch any TV shows. I did hear that the Halo show got a lot of mixed feedback.
Yeah,
but some people were very, very upset. But yeah,
I have a strict policy on watching watching shitty TV shows or movies based off of things that I really like because I feel like it's gonna make me mad. The only exception, because HBO does in my opinion, does a damn good job with this stuff. Anything I'm watching, the production quality, like they have like an unlimited pocket that they give to all of their shows, except for the last season of Game of Thrones. But done anyway. But with the Last of Us show going to HBO, and I know a lot of the actors that are in that because they're from Game of Thrones or something like else. Like I feel like that show has potential to be really good. Everything else, I'm kind of like, no. Plus, I'm not subscribing to Paramount Plus to watch Halo. It's just not happening. I will say, and I'm kind of just speaking to the universe because no one ever watches it. The new season of Doctor Who was actually really good. I binged that all in like a day too.
Is there a new Doctor?
So the thing is like, we're talking about like with Star Wars or whatever, like it splits the fan base. Doctor Who does that too. But the good thing is that usually in every 4 years, they just kill everyone off and they put in new cast and it's like a whole new show. And so that way you just kind of forget about it. And this was the last season with Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, which when she was first put on there, there was a lot of people that were like, I don't like this. I think if you thought that just because she was a woman, you're wrong. I think that the writing for the show was pretty bad the first season. It's gotten a lot better. This last...
I hate that, by the way. I hate when something like that situation is, you have bad writing, you have bad storytelling, bad direction, and stuff like that. But because they've made a change like that, they've made, one of the characters female, like in that instance. You can't have that opinion because they'll twist it. Well, you just don't like it because they cast a woman. It's like, no, these stories are bad, but it's always like that gets shouted down.
Well, my biggest problem, this is a British show. My biggest problem with it is that, like, for the first 12 seasons of this show, like in the revival of it, I've gotten really good at understanding British and Scottish accents. Like, some people listen to it, like, I can't understand what they're saying. Like, I've gotten pretty good at understanding what they're talking about. I don't know what it is about the actors in the first run of her era, but you can't understand what the hell they're saying half the time. They talk really fast and really quiet. There are some great episodes in that, and once I finally figured out how to understand what the hell they're talking about, or I turn on subtitles or something, there's some really good episodes. There's an episode about Rosa Parks. It's one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who that they've ever done. That's in that's first season. This last one, though, it's only 6 episodes long, but the story, it goes across all 6 episodes. Like, it's not like one. Like, it's a 6-part story, and it's fantastic. Like, it's one of my favorite seasons of Doctor Who they've ever done. And now that I'm like, wow, Jodie Whittaker's cool. I actually like the character, and like the companions are like, oh, this is her last season. She's getting ready to regenerate again. I'm like, oh my god, like, it's it is what it is. Uh, but yeah, anyway, watch your sci-fi shows that have been around since the '60s or movies. Go watch them because they're still out
It's
there.
been around for a while. Yeah.
So I think Star Trek Picard, they're getting ready to bring back like a bunch of old characters from like or from like Picard's original. I'm not my Star Trek is very like bad. I don't understand.
Picard is from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay, so they are bringing back other characters. I saw it this morning. They're bringing back other characters from the Next Generation to be in Picard season 3. So if you are a Star Trek fan, just to hit all of the sci-fi shows.
Yeah, I've got to watch those because I love Star Trek and Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then they lose me after that. I never watched Deep Space Nine or any of the. I think there's like 6 or 7 Star Trek shows after the Next Generation. I don't know it.
I really enjoyed. Thank you for coming to Next Gen TV Show Week. But I really enjoyed, like, my first entry into Star Trek, like actually watching it, was the 3 like remake movies that they did with Chris Pine as Captain
Yeah,
Kirk.
those were good.
I really enjoyed the first 2. I don't remember the third one. I think it's called Star Trek. It's not called Beyond, is it? I don't know. But anyway, like, I don't remember that movie, but the first 2 are really good. And that was actually, you can tell how old I am. For this, but like, that was the first time I ever saw Benedict Cumberbatch in anything, and I was like, wow, that guy's really cool. And now he's my favorite Marvel superhero. So I mean, that's how things work. But yeah, thanks for coming to our little TV talk. But we will go ahead and start trying to close the show down. Oh, we lost Richard. Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It just kind of doop doop.
All right, let's do our trivia. For the record, no one has gotten a trivia question right in 3 weeks, so we need to fix that. Someone needs to start getting some points. So I have kind of a challenging one though, but it's kind of like.
So you want to keep it going?
Yeah. This week's trivia question is: which of these Japanese vehicle manufacturers has their own limited edition Nintendo 64 console? Is it Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, or Subaru? Trivia questions are getting a little harder, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Honda. I don't know for sure. I'm just gonna go with that.
See, I was going to go with Honda, but now I'm afraid people are going to think I'm just following Chase. because I'm between like Honda and Subaru. I didn't know Subaru was a Japanese manufacturer though.
I didn't either till I looked it up.
What did you think it was before you looked it up?
I mean, oh wait, what I think Subaru was? Uh,
Yeah.
well,
I always thought it was like an Australian thing. I
yep,
have
yep.
no idea. I have no
It's
idea where that comes
okay,
from.
okay. Are you ready for my comparison? It's because the Subaru you always hear about is Subaru Outback,
The
and
Subaru Outback. That's
and
right,
and
man.
Outback Steakhouse is in Australia.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's probably where the way our brains are wired. So that's
I'm
why
sorry, Australian fans.
I'm going to I'm going to go with Honda.
No one got the question right again.
Oh man, it was at Hyundai.
Yep, it was Hyundai. They have their.
Damn it! A split second, I was like, I'm going to go with Hyundai just to separate myself from Chase. But then I was like, if Chase gets it right, though, I'm going to be pissed.
I need to. I need to. I need to start like on my little trivia thing. Like I have the scores for everyone. I have a current tally of times that Mitch has fucked up the trivia question, and that's still set at 2. And I need to start another one that says current times that Richard has forgot or should have changed his answer, but he decided to follow Chase and then got it
Oh,
wrong.
I know. Yep.
Because I think that's at least 3 or 4 times now. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, let's go ahead and start wrapping the show up. Richard, you got anything you would like to plug for this week?
Yeah, no many left behind. I got my Knights of the Commander something whatever. It's that little expansion set that the Avalon Hill kind of short-sighted fans with just little production numbers. It's 2 little pieces of plastic that are going for almost $300 in some instances from scalpers. So I'm going to throw some images of that stuff up. I'm actually going to take scans of the cards because a lot of people, they can have those professionally printed, and this is definitely something that's going to generate a lot of bootlegging, which typically I wouldn't endorse that, but because of the situation surrounding it, I'm gonna do what I can. So I'm gonna put scans of the cards up. So I'll actually have that today, and that'll be on my Facebook page. So no many left behind.
Nice. Chase, anything to plug this week?
I've just been wildly irresponsible with buying more and more games. I don't know why I keep doing it. Because right now, I don't know if the sales are still up, but I believe Target, Amazon, and GameStop, all 3 right now have buy 2 get 1 free on games. And I know I'm going to say GameStop has, I think there were 1,200 games available for this promotion. I think Amazon had like 400 or 600, and I can't remember how many was Target had. But yeah, so if you're looking to get some games right now, you can get like 3 new $60 games for $40 a piece, which is a pretty hefty discount. But yeah, so
nice.
But yeah, other than that, no, I don't have anything. I'm going to play more video games.
Which sports is coming? Isn't that in like 2 weeks maybe?
Switch Sports is the 29th.
Okay, never mind. That's the end of the month.
Yeah, the only new release major was Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. That just came out, and I actually don't know what comes out in the middle of this week or middle of the month. I don't think there's anything major. If I am, I'm forgetting about it. Make sure you also go check out Chase's unboxing of his limited run games, which is a lot of people seem to be pretty excited for. There's a lot of interest on there. And go check out Michael's stuff at stalledaction.com. I don't know if he's not still streaming on Sundays anymore, is he? He was doing that for a long time. He was like doing his spacey Sundays. You can check out Steven's stuff at soundcloud.com. You look him up on it's Breaker Beats 2020. It's either that or the breaks. It's one of those two. If he's in the comments still, he can, or on the video, he can clarify which one of those it is. It's one of those two. Just look up both of them. I'm sure there's something there. I'm not doing anything because I'm trying to. This is my last week with Walmart, so I'm like, I have one more shift and I'm finally done. And I'm just taking it easy and getting lots of rest because I'm gonna have to. Everything's about to change, so I'm like, just taking it easy and beating Elden Ring before I have to probably not have time to do anything for a while. So fun times. It's sad, but fun times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be it for Next Gen News Week. Thank you guys for joining me, and we'll be back next week with more gaming news and maybe another TV talk or something. We'll see.